Joining us today is our guest, Anna Sather. Anna is with Farm in the Dell of the Red River Valley. Hello, Anna. How are you?
Good. Oh,
We are thrilled to have you joining us today. So excited. All right, first and foremost, so Farm in the Dell. Tell me what it is.
can you hear me?
I can now.
You can. Okay. Well, I'm so honored and excited to be here with you guys today. I actually recently stepped into my new role at Farm in the Dell in January of this year, so I'm brand new to the team. But Farm in the Dell actually transforms disabilities into abilities through purposeful work and life experiences in a community farm setting. We actually have a 30-acre farm just north of Moorhead where we operate a CSA production. And it's just so special to see our employees come out there and spending time out on the farm. We work really closely with them and their families to find purposeful work that really fills their spirits, sharpens their minds, and cultivates joy. They have the opportunity to weed out there, plant, harvest. They might be packing, they might be sorting, they might be prepping for our CSA pickups. They might actually have the opportunity as well to sit at farmers markets with us and be a part of the CSA pickup. So they really get to be a part of the process from the start to the finish, which is really special.
Okay, you've been talking, and I've been so busy writing notes. I hope I remembered half the things you said, so I can go back and ask you about them. Okay, so you're starting out this time of year with maybe you've got employees who are already planting seedlings, or where does that time frame start? Is it primarily a growing season opportunity for your employees, or are you doing some things year round?
So that's a great question. Currently, we bring on our employees in mid-May, and they're with us traditionally through the end of August if they have a school schedule. Otherwise, they can stay on through October to help with the harvest. That is one issue that we are currently facing right now is we don't have a greenhouse out at the farm. And so we just have a pole barn out there. And so we actually work with local greeneries to help us start some of the seedlings. And otherwise, everything goes into the ground in late May or early June. That is our ultimate goal out there is to have a facility, part of which would include a greenhouse. And that would allow us to provide year-round employment because currently right now when our employees leave us in the fall, it's very sad for us to say goodbye. We want to make sure that they do find meaningful employment outside of the normal growing season and then also hope that they return the following spring.
I love the idea of coming, bringing people back because you don't have to retrain new employees every year. That's awesome.
Right. Most of our employees, thankfully, have been coming back every year, which is so special. But with me stepping onto the team this year and a newly expanded leadership team, we are hoping to expand our offerings. And so we are looking for new employees to come on board with us this spring. So if anyone knows anyone, send them to our website. We have an application on there.
Oh, that is super cool. How many people are you helping in a year with this project? And then from year to year, how many of those people are returning for a second year?
So that's a great question. The organization has been around for the last 10 years. I would say on average, we have upwards of 20 to 25 employees. But to answer your question more specifically, you asked how many people we serve. We do have about 20 to 25 employees out there. However, I like to say that we serve the whole community in a variety of different ways. We actually have hundreds of volunteers out there every summer. We do have 100 CSA shareholders as well. So this heavily impacts them and their families as they get weekly fresh produce from us every single week during the growing season. We have many people and organizations who have just come out of the woodwork and walked alongside us. The donors, those who have provided in-kind donations to us with some of the farm equipment and even, gloves, the wax boxes, the 5-gallon buckets, whatever people have been able to
Mhm.
donate us to us, we're just so grateful, and they've just really walked alongside us. And so there's many different ways that people can be involved, and many different ways that the mission of our organization can impact lives in our community.
That's super cool. And for those that are watching us on Facebook or YouTube Live, as well as Acres TV, we're showing a bunch of photos from the operation over there. And it looks like you guys are growing all sorts of everything, pumpkins to tomatoes. And I saw a bunch of other things. I wasn't quite sure exactly what they were, but what do you do with all these products throughout the year? And when it comes to the harvest, where do they go? Is there anything special that's done with them?
So great question. We operate as a CSA farm for the most part up until this point. So we are actually currently selling our CSA shares for the 2023 growing season. So if anyone is interested, hop onto our website and you can purchase a share. So essentially you make a down payment in the spring, and then starting in, mid-June, hopefully, it might get bumped back a little bit this year with the wet
Planting,
season.
planting,
But
planting.
right. Traditionally, mid-June through mid-September, the families that have a share with us do receive weekly boxes of produce. So early on in
Hmm.
the summer, they'll receive leafy green vegetables, and then at the end, they're walking home with, multi-pound boxes full of melons and pumpkins and zucchinis and really some of the larger crops. So it's really a cool model to be a part of. And along with the produce, we actually launched kind of a new model this year with our CSAs. We're calling them Prayers and Produce. So this is a Christian-based organization. So along with your CSA share, you also receive weekly newsletters, employee testimonials, recipe ideas, devotionals, and this year you're going to get the opportunity to link into our prayer chain. So you'll have a whole group of families, prayer warriors praying for you, and it's just going to be a really cool group to be a part of. We do also participate in some local farmers markets. I know that this year we're planning to be at the City of Moorhead Market. And we are also, for the first time ever, launching an online store. So families, we have yet to determine the exact schedule for this, but families can go on and purchase vegetables from us between, maybe like a Thursday and a Sunday, and then we will fill those orders that following week. So if a CSA model is not a good fit for your family, you still have the opportunity to support us by purchasing individual produce items from us on our website.
I see. And you had said a term earlier in there that I was a little unfamiliar with, and I thought that if I'm unfamiliar with it, I'm sure some of our listening audience might be as well. And you said that your farm was either a CFA or a CSA. Is that correct? What is that abbreviation?
Yeah, I apologize. I should have made that more clear. So
Oh, no, that's
CSA stands
fine.
for yeah, community supported agriculture. And so that model is, as I mentioned before, when a family can make a down payment in the spring, and that those dollars go to
Hmm.
support, the seed, everything that goes into planting and stewarding the garden throughout the growing season. And then you receive weekly boxes of produce throughout the harvest.
Anna, that leads me to my very first, most important question. What are you and your employees raising that go in those CSA boxes when someone wants to subscribe to a membership?
Great question. So anything that you can picture being in a traditional garden in your backyard, we grow it at Farm in the Dell. So, we have the kale, the leafy greens, tomatoes, onions, squash, peas, green beans. We have a huge pumpkin patch. We have a very large strawberry patch. We have a plethora of produce items that we grow. We have about, I would say, 30 different things out there. So those are actually all listed on our website too. And if you do join our CSA program, you will receive each one of those items in at least one of your boxes throughout the season. So even if you haven't tried cooking with something in the past, you'll have the opportunity to get creative in the kitchen this summer.
So, Anna, you've said you've been in this role for a short time as executive director, but I don't think this is your first go around working with Farm in the Dell of the Red River Valley. I think you maybe have been there for a little while. So, you know, tell me a little bit more about your background within the organization, and most importantly, what's your favorite thing about all of this? What do you most enjoy?
So great question. I've been a part of Farm of the Dell for about a year. It was actually last January, a year ago. I was looking for a place for my kids and I to start volunteering and where they could really feel connected to a mission. And I grew up on a farm and I thought it'd be cool for it to be in a farmer garden setting. So I actually started scouring the Giving Hearts Day website and I stumbled on Farm in the Dell and I had never heard of it before, but I went to their website and I scoured it. I read it line by line and I just fell in love with what they did. So I quickly kind of joined forces with them. I became a CSA shareholder last year. I ended up volunteering on their spring fundraising committee last year. I spent time volunteering out there a couple different times, and I just fell in love with the people. They are so devoted. They believe so deeply in what they do. And so, it quickly became a passion of mine to support the mission and walk alongside them. And so when the position opened last fall for the executive director position, I just got very excited and I applied right away. So I'm just very honored and privileged to be a part of the organization that's been around for 10 years and has just such incredible people and such incredible support. To
That's
answer your question
great.
about my
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. Okay. My favorite thing, oh gosh, it would be hard to nail that down. I think just there's a handful of things. I think I'm very excited to just get my hands dirty and be out in the dirt, go to work in my overalls, and growing produce is just so near and dear to my heart. Like I said, I grew up on a farm. I've been a hobby gardener for many years, and I think just learning to do that large scale is going to be such a special thing to take on. The people too, that's the biggest thing. Just getting to know the board of directors, that's just such a devoted group of individuals that put their time and energy into the work at the farm. The employees out there, I got to know them last year. We have a full-time garden manager during the summer, part-time garden supervisors, and then our garden engineers are our missional employees. I got to know a handful of them last year throughout my experience at the farm, and they are just absolutely phenomenal people. They have such big hearts for what they do. They love being out at the farm and spending time out there, and we learn as much from us as they do from we learn as much from them as they do from us. So it's just really, really special place to be. It's really such a cool faith community too. Like I said earlier, being a part of a prayer chain. I mean, these are just such incredible prayer warriors, and they walk alongside each other and support each other. And it's honestly, it's just God's country out there. It's so cool.
That is great. And Anna, I want to know, you kind of mentioned it and we're touching on it a bit there, but what do you get from this process? Does it warm your heart? Is there emotions? What emotions does it feel like to be involved in this?
It's just such an honor to be a part of it. And just to give a little bit of context too, this is more than a traditional farm. The organization was actually established as a 501c3 in the Fargo-Moorhead area back in 2012. There was a group of parents from Moorhead. They each had children that were upperclassmen at Moorhead High School who had disabilities, and these parents just weren't really sure what the next phase of their child's life was going to look like. What was their social life going to look like? What was their employment going to look like? Where were they going to live? What were they going to spend their time doing? And so they actually did extensive research, and they stumbled on Farm in the Dell International, which was formed in the 1980s in Montana by a man named Lowell Bartels, who fights fiercely for the disabled community, and he's just such a special man. I would love to meet him someday. But this group of Moorhead parents, they actually caravanned out to Montana, and they got to tour the farm out there. They quickly learned that there's a few chapters across the country, the United States and Canada. They fell in love with the mission so deeply that within about a 12-month period, they ended up bringing a chapter to the Fargo-Moorhead area. We actually started off as a very, very small CSA farm. I think it was honestly on a half an acre plot down near Catalyst Medical
Mhm.
Center. And then in 2017, we actually received a life-changing donation from a local man who ended up donating to us his 30 acres of land, his pole barn, multiple pieces of equipment in the pole barn. And that was just life-changing and very pivotal for the organization, because that allowed us to really hugely expand our operations and really dream big for the future, and in a way to serve more individuals. So that's actually where our farm is located right now. As I mentioned earlier, we're 5 miles north of Moorhead on that piece of land. So just really fully understanding the story and deeply understanding the mission and the reason why we exist is just so special to me. And I'm just so excited to be a part of this.
That is super cool. And Bridget, I think you probably were just about to kind of ask the same thing I was going to on this. I think you just kind of answered both of our questions on, is there a larger overall national organization? And it kind of seems like that.
Right.
How far does Farm in the Dell reach? Is this nationwide? Is this Midwest? What's that look like? How big is this organization?
So, I don't know the exact count, but I think it's about 15 locations. Most of them are across
Mhm.
the Midwest, and then there are a couple in Canada. Yeah.
See. Now, I wanted to know, because we were kind of touching on the big donation that you had just received, or forgot exactly when it was. Sorry on that. But you got the 30 acres of land, you got the pole barn, you got some of the equipment, and that was the life-changing donation that brought Farm in the Dell, the Red River Valley, to the next level for you guys. If someone's listening, they're like, hey, I got a bunch of extra stuff. I got tomato cages, I got gloves, I got buckets, I have no need for them. Maybe I got a spare greenhouse that could be better used somewhere else. Where could somebody make a donation for you guys?
Yeah, so that's a great question. We're always looking for those kinds of items. If you go to our website, farminthedellrrv.org/support, or yep, I see your homepage, our homepage right there. You can just click on the button on the top that says support. That kind of spells out, that gives a full list of ways to support the farm. If you click on the spot where it says donate much needed farm supplies, you'll see a list of items that we're currently collecting that we need for this upcoming garden season. And so, as I mentioned before, there's items on there like 5-gallon buckets, gloves. I'm trying to actually read the screen too, but you can see it on there. We're looking for quite a few items on there that would be really beneficial and helpful for this upcoming growing season. Much larger scale, to pivot that way a little bit. We don't have a greenhouse currently, so that's something that we are looking to get. We also are looking to get some high tunnels that would allow us to expand our growing season and, again, ultimately provide lengthier opportunities for employment for our employees. Ultimately, our dream out there is to get a facility where we do have a kitchen, a classroom, a space to break for our employees. And as weird as it sounds, a bathroom. There's actually not a bathroom out there. So we do ultimately need a facility out there, but yes, we are looking for all those items. Also, if you look at that page, just to expand on the list a little bit, we're always asking for prayers, pray that our mission positively touches the lives across the community. If anyone has any interest in donating financially to support the employees that we serve, we would just be deeply touched by that. We do have volunteer opportunities every weekday morning during the summer, so from mid-May through mid-October again. And then we do have Monday evening shifts as well. And then also throughout the growing season, we will add on our website other special projects. So like when we start getting the plants into the ground, that's kind of an all hands on deck, few days string there. So we're going to look for volunteers for that. And I'll add that to our website too. And then just following along with us on social media, following our website. On our website, there's an opportunity to sign up for our newsletter and becoming a CSA shareholder too. That's another big way to support what we do.